Well, good morning everybody and welcome to Paperbird Books Home Club episode 20. And for those of you who have been watching a few of these episodes, welcome back. This is my first appearance here, I suppose, on Instagram TV. And hello everybody, I can see a few little hands waving. Thank you so much for joining me. It's so nice to see you. Fabulous Kelly Canby, wow. Lighting That Spark is here, hello. My name's Deb Fitzpatrick and I am delighted to be here with you this morning. Meg McKinley will thank me for that. That's her favourite word, delighted. But I really am. And I've got lots to share with you this morning. Those of you who already know me probably know that I can talk the hind legs off a donkey, as my husband says. But I do have lots of different things that I love to share with kids about my writing and about your writing and just all the different things that we can talk about. So welcome. So before I start, all of us who come on to Paperbird Books Home Club need to answer 5 standard questions. So let me just get those. Hello, Frane Lassac. Yes, thank you so much for coming into the room. I feel better now I know you're here. Okay, so apparently the first question is M&Ms or Skittles? Simple, M&Ms every time. And no peanuts. No. Plain chocolate M&Ms and preferably cold from the fridge. Okay, so don't give me any Skittles. My kids like Skittles, yuck. Not yuck, just they don't do me. They don't do it for me. You know, who's that? Rebecca Newman, hello. Okay, second question. Night owl or early bird? Night owl, always have been. And even though as I get older, I'm less able to stay up late than I used to be, I still love that time in the house when everything's quiet and I can watch a movie or watch the late news or whatever. I'm definitely a night owl. And even when I go to bed, I will often lie awake thinking story ideas or about my next chapter. Diane Wolfer, hello! And all those sorts of things just go around in my head. So it takes me a long time to get to sleep. I do a lot of thinking and processing, and that's, yeah, I'm not an early riser. I have to force myself to get out of bed to make my kids' lunches and stuff during term time. But it's not term time, is it, guys? It's school holidays, and even if it weren't school holidays right now, it wouldn't be school time like normal, would it? Because we are in this strange period of our lives, this strange period in history that is coronavirus. And it's been interesting, hasn't it? Hopefully, for some of you guys, it's been positive, as well as no doubt it's had its negatives. I hope none of you have been sick. I hope none of your parents and grandparents have been sick. Thankfully, my family are all well and safe. I haven't been able to give my mum a hug for weeks, which has been difficult, but she's 83, so I just can't risk that. And she can't hug her grandkids. But Mark Greenwood, hello. But there have been some really lovely positives for me come out of coronavirus, and I wanted to share some of them with you. I also want to know how you guys have been keeping busy during this time, because you can't go outside and go and play soccer with your friends. You can't go to dance classes like normal. You might be doing that on Zoom. My daughter does her circus classes with Circus WA on Zoom now. So there's all sorts of different, I love that, the innovation that's coming with coronavirus, you know, all the different changes. I have not got food in my teeth, Frane Lassac, but thanks so much. They're clean, thank you. Frane, you farted. Yeah, you did. You know, you remember that time in front of all those kids. In front of all those kids. You did it, not me. Right, anyway. So one of the things I love about coronavirus this time, where we've not been able to go out and we've been isolating, is how many audiobooks I've been able to listen to. And audiobooks are my new special treat, and I'm absolutely loving them. Yes, you did, Freno. Thank you for admitting it finally. Audiobooks, at the moment, I've been listening to Maurice Gleitzman's Once series, and I'm particularly enjoying those because not only are they absolutely beautiful books, but he reads them. So as any of you who have listened to an audiobook before will know, a lot of the pleasure comes in how well the book is read. And if you've got a voice reading a book and you don't like the voice, then you're not going to enjoy the reading of the book. Well, to have Maurice Gleitzman reading his own books, such beautiful books as they are, it's just absolutely been lovely. So I put my little earbuds in and I go into my bedroom and I lie down, and audiobooks are very intimate. They're very private, and it's less hard work, you know, listening to an audiobook, having it read to you. It's such a pleasure. I really encourage you guys to try it. I get mine from the library, so I don't pay for my audiobooks. I borrow mine through BorrowBox, through the library service that I'm a member of. Actually, I'm a member of about 15 library services, but you know why. Okay. The other thing I'm doing a lot of is I'm doing a lot of those really big jigsaw puzzles with my kids and with my husband. So, you know, like the 1,000-piece puzzles with, you know, a photo of an ocean and clouds above it. So every single piece is blue, that sort of thing. So doing a lot of that, and that's been really lovely fun. The other thing I'm doing is, I don't know about you guys, but I'm eating a lot more than necessary and a lot more than normal. And finally, one of the things I'm doing is I'm editing my latest book. And I was really pleased a couple of weeks ago to come to the final chapter of the first draft, and I yelled out to my husband, "That's it! I've just written the last chapter!" Because boy does it take much longer for me to write a book than I ever think it's going to. So those of you who know me, my books, might know about the Spencer Gray books, and I have 2 so far. Let me show you. I have The Amazing Spencer Gray, which is the one that came out first, and The Spectacular Spencer Gray, which is my most recent book, and also the second in the Spencer Gray series. Well, unsurprisingly, because you guys seem to like the Spencer Gray books so much, and I seem to like writing about Spencer and his mates, Charlie and Leon, don't get that wrong, so much, I decided that they just wouldn't leave me alone. They wouldn't get out of my head. So a third book came to mind, and I thought it should take me about a year to write, but of course it's taken me about 3 years to write. I can't explain that. I'm just slow. Are you guys slow? Is it harder for you guys to write stories than you think it's going to be? Because that's definitely something I struggle with. So, let me show you. This is the manuscript. I'm just going to hide the title there. I don't know if any of you captured that. That title is a working title. I don't think it's going to be the final title. You can see it's a good, let me see how many pages it is. It's much longer than the other Spencers. It's 182 pages. Double-sided, see, lots of work has gone into that. Now, that's the manuscript. That's my first draft. Thank you so much for all these lovely messages that are coming up. People are talking to each other, people are talking to me. I'm finding it hard to focus on what I'm trying to say, as well as Franny Lissac throwing tomatoes at me from the sidelines. You know, those of you who are saying nice things, thank you so much for being part of this. So the Spencer Gray, third Spencer Gray book, now just needs me to read through the whole thing, this whole draft, and edit it. And then I'm going to send it off to my agent. He will read it, give me feedback, and say, Deb, I don't like this bit, or I really like this bit, I think this is great, or I think you need a bit more here, or I don't know what's happening in this section, I think the pace is a little slow. He'll send me back that sort of feedback, then I'll make some more changes, send it back to him, and then if he likes it and is willing to, he will send it on to a publisher. Now in this case, because the previous two Spencer Gray books were published by Fremantle Press, I'm very much hoping that he will send it off to them. I'm expecting that will happen. So, just to give you some idea, I began editing this book yesterday. Now you've seen what the clean pages look like, right? They look a little bit like this. No marks, just typing. Well, this is what the edited pages look like. Scribbles. Scribbles everywhere. Every couple of lines. Scribbles, word changes, move this line to that line, add in a word, change that word, fussy, fussy, fussy Deb Fitzpatrick. But that's how I have to be. If I don't tend to these things now, then my manuscript won't be as good as it can be and it might not get published. So I have to, even though I've written a few books before, I still have to make sure that all of my books, when they get to the publishing house or when they get to my agent, are as good as they can be. No time for complacency. So I'm enjoying the editing process, but it is long and it is slow. Thanks for the thumbs up, Rebecca Newman. I appreciate that. And it's exciting too, because I hope very much that when I see you guys next after coronavirus, when I come back into classrooms and when I come to Children's Book Week events later in the year, which is now going to be in October, and when I come and do workshops with you guys, maybe next year, I'll be able to talk with you about the third Spencer Gray, which will be really exciting. Okay, so that's one thing that I wanted to show you. I also want to show you what happens during that writing process, just one little thing, because I wanted to show you some things. Otherwise it's just me talking. Just need to have a sip of my coffee here. Okay, this little notebook is just something that I have in my handbag, and whenever I'm writing a book, I usually in the back of my mind, even if I'm not sitting in front of my computer writing, usually, hi Bryony, how are you? Even if I'm not in front of my computer writing, there are ideas kind of just percolating in the back of my mind. And I love you too, Bryony, you're awesome. And because of those ideas, you know how you have an idea in the middle of the night and you think, oh, that is gold. That is gold. I'm going to make that the beginning of my next chapter tomorrow when I sit down in front of my computer. And then you roll over and you go back to sleep and you sleep about, and you have nice dreams about foxes and ice cream eating and all that sort of thing. And then you wake up in the morning and you have toast and that idea is gone. It is gone. It went with the ice cream. I don't know where it went. It went off with the wind. It's never coming back. So I have this notebook, whether it's in the middle of the night when I have great ideas, or if it's during the day when I just want to scribble down something that I've seen, like the way a bird looks when it flies from one tree to another, or the sound of a car driving past my house, or the look on someone's face, or the sound of a child's scream. If I don't recall those things when they happen, they're gone. Now, I don't know if that means I have some sort of memory disorder. It's possible. My children do think I do. They do. But that's children. I'll leave you to figure that one out. So in this notebook, I have lots of little writings. Lots of writings for when I'm not in front of my computer and I just need to scribble something down. So this is a really important tool for me, and I know lots of writers have a sort of a notebook system, and I really encourage you guys to do that too. Okay, now, let me see how we're going for time here, see how I'm talking. Oh my goodness, I just can't believe it. So 15 minutes has just gone. Okay. All right, so I wanted to show you a few other things this morning. Some things that I normally have around me. You might have noticed I'm actually not sort of in my office. I'm in my house. And behind me you can see lots of my kids' sort of posters and artworks and, you know, photographs of the family and all that sort of thing. But normally when I'm in my study, which is a bit messy this morning, that's why I didn't want to take you in there, I have some other things around me. And I like looking at them. When I'm trying to think of an idea, I just look around my study and it makes me feel really good when I see some of these things. This is one of them. This is a card my daughter made me a few years ago now. She's really good at sort of lettering and drawing. Hello, Karen Blair. And she decided to make me a card for my birthday, copying the image from The Amazing Spencer Gray. How good is that? It just breaks. I just love this. I have this next to my desk. That's my daughter. She won't be happy that I've shared that with you, but you know, sorry. She's not on Instagram. I also really like having things that are silly and make me smile. Squibby people will know what this is. Kelly Canby, Frane, Diane Wolfer will know what this is. This is from our last Rot Nest retreat. This makes me happy. I'm not going to go into it too much, but I think kids will appreciate this because, you know, it came with toys. It came with lollies inside, right? It came with lollies inside. Okay, I also really like to have little things that my kids have made at school. Like, look at this little echidna thing. My kids will die that I'm showing you this, but I love this sort of clay thing. I can't remember if it was my son or my daughter who made this, but I love him. Look at him, his nose. So he's there, my desk. I also have things that remind me, make me feel proud of writing things that I've done. So I have lots of lanyards from when I have been at festivals, like Perth Writers Festival lanyards, Scribblers Festival lanyard, and that's really sad that they had to cancel this year because of coronavirus. And the Singapore Writers Festival, Kids Festival, Words Go Round lanyard. Those things, I look at those things when I'm feeling a bit low or a bit sort of like I'm not the writer I want to be, those sorts of thoughts, and I think, yes, I can do this. It's going to be all right. So those are some of the other things I have in my office. Now, I also wanted to show you some things I do when I get stuck. Because do you guys get stuck when you write? You guys get stuck when a teacher gives you, 40 minutes to write a story? And then when the bell goes, you're meant to have written a story? Goodness me, I just couldn't even do that. But I have a lot of time to write, and even though I have all that time, I still get stuck. And one of the things that I really love to do, and that has always helped me, is looking at other people's writing. People whose work I really respect and admire, people whose work is maybe winning awards or just is really beautiful. I just thought I'd show you 3 books. This morning I just quickly grabbed 3 books that came to mind because I love a lot of books, but 3 books that came to mind that I wanted to share with you that are examples of the sorts of books I would go to when I feel stuck, and I just want some ideas as to how I might manage a bit of dialogue or a bit of characterization. So the first one I thought I'd show you is Meg McKinley's fantastic new book, Catch a Falling Star. It is beautiful. Read it. It's stunning. Okay. That's one. An old book, but probably one of my all-time favourite children's books that I read as an adult. Excuse me. I read as an adult, but I absolutely loved it, is That Eye of the Sky by Tim Winton. Now look, it might be an old book, but you know, so is Huckleberry Finn. So, you know, just this book for me embodies everything that is good about voice in character and that sort of thing. So if you love great characters, this is such a beautiful book. It's so poignant. It's a great one. And then Karen Foxley's fantastic book from last year that is just captivating and funny and quirky and just different and sad, and about a beautiful family. Lenny's Book of Everything. I love this one too. So there's some of the things that I go to when I get stuck when I'm writing. And please believe me, remember how I told you that it takes me 3 years to write a book that really should only take me at the maximum 1 year? That's because I get stuck. I get stuck because I don't know what to write next. I get stuck because I think I'm not good enough, and I get stuck because I get distracted by life. Okay. Now, other things I wanted to share with you. Yes. Sometimes, just sometimes, when I go to schools and classrooms, kids and teachers say to me, Deb, where do you get your ideas from? Well, those of you who've met me know that I get ideas from lots of different places, but one place I get ideas from are the stories around us, the stories in the world around us. So the stories that might be happening on your street, the stories you hear about in the schoolyard, the stories you hear mum and dad talking about, the stories you might pick up on the news. And there have been a couple of books that I've written that have come directly as a result of me hearing something on the news. Those of you who know me know I'm a complete news addict. And whenever I'm driving around in my car, and I love to drive, I always have ABC News Radio on, or, you know, Radio National, one of the sort of radio stations that will give me lots of news regularly and good, reliable news. So, excuse me, one day I was driving in my car and I was listening to the news. Sean Avery, nice to see you, hello. And I heard a very sad story this morning that I was listening to the news. Now, I'm going to hold up because I was listening to it on the radio. Later on, when I wanted to know more about this particular news story, I went online and I found a little bit of that news story on the ABC website. Now, I'm just going to hold that up for you, and you can see there's a big bit cut out here. That's because there was a picture of the child involved in this story here, and I wanted to protect her identity, keep her privacy. So here, this story is the digital version, I suppose, of the story that I heard on the radio one day. And the story really just went roughly like this. In Sydney, in a suburb of Sydney, overnight, late at night, a family had a knock on their door very late in the evening. And the father of the house went and opened the door, and on his front doorstep was a small child. And I'm not talking about a baby, not a baby in a basket, and you often hear stories like that. I'm talking about a toddler, about 18 months old. And the toddler had a blanket wrapped around her, and there was a note on the blanket to the, you know, it had her name on it or something, just her first name, and something along the lines of, look after me, please. And that was it. And the story on the news was a call out to local people in the area asking to help find that child's parents or guardians. Because obviously something had happened, something terrible had happened, and they, for whatever reason, felt that they perhaps couldn't look after that child anymore, or, you know, the child was in danger or something. Now, you guys know I've got kids, and I heard that story and I just thought, I could not get it out of my mind. And that's when I know a novel is coming, when a story just won't go away. So I called my publisher, Kate, and I talked her through it, and she said she thought it could work. So that is how the book At My Door came about. And this is the character Poppy, not the one who is left at the door, but she is the little girl who lives at the house where the 18-month-old baby child was left abandoned. Oh, that's my puppy barking. So the story is written from the point of view, it is super sad. It is super sad, blue ear Matt Dillo design. Thank you for staying with this. This is great. It is a sad story, but it's also a positive story. And I wanted to write the book from the point of view of the family receiving that child, the family, and how they would care for her. What would happen, you know? Who do they call? How do they manage it? Can they look after the child? Are they allowed to, you know? So that's the idea behind At My Door. And, you know, I want you guys to know that the initial idea wasn't mine. I heard it and I turned it into a fiction story. So that's something that I really love to do, and I've done that with a few of my books. The Amazing Spencer Gray is another one that came from a real story. That's great. Thank you so much, Tamsin. I'm so glad you liked that book. Now, I'm coming to the end of my time with you guys, which I can't believe. I think I've shown you most things I wanted to show you. I do just want to give a shout out to Storylab. Now, Storylab is a fantastic creative outlet that operates from Paperbird Books. Now, you guys are on Paperbird's Instagram channel, so no doubt you know all about how cool Paperbird Books is. And upstairs, if you go upstairs into the exhibition space, I often run creative writing workshops upstairs with a fantastic guy called Miles Openshaw. Now, Miles runs Storylab, and Storylab doesn't just run creative writing workshops, it runs spoken word workshops, performance poetry, it runs drama workshops and all sorts of things. And I wanted to let you guys know that at 11:30, so right now it's nearly 11 o'clock, but at 11:30, Miles from Storylab is going to be live on the Paperbird Instagram TV channel that you're on right now, so in half an hour. And he is going to be doing a 30-minute, I'm just going to read this, a 30-minute introductory workshop. So stay tuned if you're interested. He's going to be talking to about 30 kids on Zoom, and Jen, who runs Paperbird Books, is actually going to be filming that. So you guys can be part of it. It's a free event, and there's been loads of interest apparently, and Miles is thinking of running it as an actual series of sessions, possibly in term 2. So stay tuned. If you're keen to be part of that, please join in. The other thing I want to show you is with the workshops that I do with Miles, the creative writing workshops, they're actually called the Young Writers Development Program. We do 5 sessions. Each session is about 2 hours long. They happen after school, and they're for kids from about 9 through to about 15. And at the end of the 5 weeks, students are meant to develop a piece of writing that they then publish. So one piece of writing, not lots of little bits, one piece of writing. And then Miles goes and publishes an extract from each of their pieces of writing, each of your pieces of writing, in a little book called Extracts. So this is one that he did last year, and it's just fantastic. It's absolutely so much fun. I love working with the kids. I love working with Miles. So thank you, Jen, at Paperbird Books for hosting Miles's workshops, but thank you all for hosting the fantastic home club sessions that I have nearly finished. I'm getting some love hearts on my screen. That's so nice. So guys, keep writing. I'm going to leave you with one last image. It's a cushion of a cute chicken or a rooster, just because it's awesome. Is that not awesome? Thank you so much, guys. I hope to see you soon. Check out my website, debfitzpatrick.com.au, and hopefully I'll have the 3rd Spencer Gray ready for you soon.